Hey guys, Joel here. I just released my new movie called Hiccups on my main channel. I hope if you find the time you can check it out because I'm really proud of this movie. It's a movie I shot in New York City, and New York City really does mean so much to me. Sometimes my life has moved on and gone so many different places that I forget that I spent 6 years of my life in New York City, and it really feels like I left a piece of my soul there. And it was really beautiful and nice to revisit. And I kid you not, making this movie over 2 to 3 weeks there was probably one of the highlights of my life. It was just so great to meet up with these old friends that I have there and catch up and do something creative with them. And just, yeah, it was such an eventful, crazy couple weeks. And I'm very lucky to have experienced it. So the movie Hiccups is a rom-com, which feels like something I've been building towards for a long time. I don't know if you know this, maybe if you follow my Letterboxd, you're a little aware of this, but I am obsessed with rom-coms. I love all the corniest, cheesiest stuff from the early 2000s. My favorites of all time, Annie Hall, 500 Days of Summer, very obvious picks perhaps, and When Harry Met Sally, which is my mom's favorite movie also. But yeah, I just love a rom-com. I think it's a great way to explore love because I don't think romance is always so serious. And I've done some movies that are just dead serious, like We Have to Leave Here Together has funny bits, but it's mostly just a really bummer movie. And I think a rom-com is honest in how goofy it can be, because I think love can be goofy. It's about inside jokes. It's about laughing with your best friend. It's about losing hours just speaking another language with another person that anyone onlooking would be like, what the hell are you doing? And that's sort of what a rom-com captures. It captures this side of love that's more playful, and it still gives it the room to get serious when it needs to. Like, I think the best rom-coms, they don't lean heavy into the serious, they just punctuate it. They let you have something to chew on at the end. They give you little sprinkles of groundedness throughout. But yeah, I was dying to make one, and who better to make it with than two of my best friends in New York, Hannah and Patrick. Hannah is just a phenomenal actress. I first met her when making Pretend That You Love Me. And ever since, we have just done a short here and there together, but we never really had time to dive into a bigger project. And I've said it already, but something this 12 feature project being funded through Patreon allows me to do is really spend a lot of time with specific friends and collaborators and do something more meaningful and collaborative in large scale. So I've always wanted to make a movie starring Hannah. She's such a talented actress, and I feel so lucky to have done that. And then Patrick's one of my best friends in the world. He's such a funny guy. He cracks me up. I always knew he'd play like a great lead in a rom-com. I'm like, you're lovable, but you also got these edges to you that we could explore. And that was a lot of fun. I just felt like putting them together was a natural pairing. And we spent probably, I think, 2.5 weeks. I think it was like 17, 18 days of shooting for this movie. It's the most shooting this year, save for the stop motion, which is crazy how long that took. But it was 18 days of just bliss, creating, walking everywhere. I think I walked like 100 miles. I checked my steps at the end of the shoot, and I walked something like 110 miles, lugging the equipment around New York. I love New York in that you're walking is part of existing there. That doesn't happen in Los Angeles. But like getting to and from the subway, even, you'll often walk a couple miles or, So I was very healthy there, and I'm sort of losing it. So I got to get back on it. But it's just a special movie to me. It means the world to me. Just watching it, every time I'm watching it through, because I'll briefly touch upon this. Worst part of making a movie is the last couple days when you're fully edited and you're just wrestling the exports within an inch of your life, because it's such a teetering balance. It's like, okay, you don't want them to be too big, but you don't want them to be too compressed. And then when you compress them, you want them to be small enough to upload in a reasonable time, but you don't want to lose too much. And eventually it's like some dark scenes are going to get a little noisy. Things are going to get a little crushed. that's part of it. But yeah, I always forget. I get so swept up in making a movie. Like I love shooting and creating with my friends, and then I even love like the solitary acts of editing or collaborating with the soundtrack. Kevin Sloan did a beautiful score for this movie. But then I forget about that last step where you lose 3 days, you're up till 4 a.m. Babysitting an export, and then it fails, and then you have to start it over. Or you finish the export, you have to watch it all the way through. But I digress. I got through it. I got a good export, and I just dropped it as soon as it was done. A thing I love about YouTube movie making is that there's no bullshit, no press, no build up to the movie, which has its fun and has its purpose. But I'm just like, oh no, the art is done. Here you go. There's no waiting for festivals, no middlemen. It's just a really beautiful thing. It's just direct from artist to audience. No delay for it, and maybe I'm a bit of a stickler when it comes to not having trailers and build up. Maybe that would be smarter marketing wise, but I just like shadow dropping stuff because people can watch it when they watch it. And yeah, I don't want to talk too much about the story because I just feel like I want you guys to experience it. But I got so many of my friends from New York in it, so many new friends, some internet friends that I've known for a long time, people I've always wanted to make stuff with. Tons of great cameos and side characters, and I think the best rom-coms are sometimes defined by having really good little punctuated moments like that too. So I tried to keep that in mind. And just structuring this, I think it's like a very tight narrative for something that was once again all improvised. We do it just fully, start to finish, find it as we go, trace the threads. Like I think a misconception with improv filmmaking is that you're just bullshitting and throwing shit at the wall. You're really not. I think improv filmmaking is just screenwriting, but you're locking in your scenes, because each time we're shooting a scene, we're writing it, we're reshooting it. Some of these scenes had 20 or 30 takes because every scene is almost done in one take. I had a very particular style I wanted to do this movie in. But, so you're writing the scenes as you shoot them and as you improvise them. And it's just screenwriting, but you're locking in the pages. Like you can't go back because it's already shot. So then you're piecing together this narrative, and it's just more committal than like giving yourself an infinite amount of time to tweak a screenplay. You're just figuring it out as you go. And I love that. It makes filmmaking 1,000 times more exciting to me. I don't think I'd ever do a script just because it would feel so much more predictable and so much more locked in, and I never want my films to feel that way. I want them to ebb and flow. Who are we filming with today? Well, what locations can we get today? How does that work into the story? Almost like how you live your life. How you don't know what you're going to do each day. You're like, oh, I have free time today, so I'm going to go here. That takes your life somewhere. Maybe you bump into somebody there, then you go to dinner. It's the same thing with a story that you let be improvised, a movie. You're like, oh, let's go over here, and then you find a little thread. Ooh, let's go over here. You find a thread. You plant seeds. You call back to them. It's a really fun, almost gamified version of filmmaking that I don't think I could live without. It just is a blast for me, and I hope you enjoy watching it. This one I cut a lot. There was a much longer cut, and it still wound up being 1:50. So if you watch it, thanks for giving it your time. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks. I love you. I love movies. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.